Hello, this is the Harboring Light. I simply give a conservative perspective about the world around me. Thank you so much to my listeners. I greatly appreciate it. Please feel free to share my content. It would be greatly appreciated. As you know, I'm on Anchor. I'm on Spotify. I'm on iHeartRadio, and I'm looking to put more episodes on there and work with that. I'm growing this podcast, and I'm on Amazon Music. I'm on Audible now, and I'm on Overcast and Stitcher excuse me. And I'm looking to put myself on more podcast platforms. So please keep a lookout for that, and I'll plug that in future episodes. And I'm also moving toward the social media realm. So right now I'm on Minds, and I'm looking to put myself on different social media platforms. So you can find me on Minds. You can see me under the Harboring Light, and please follow me. And again, I'm on Minds. And thank you so much to my listeners. I greatly appreciate you. Thank you. All right, so let's get into the topic. We're talking about debating, more along the lines of healthy debating, that is. Now, in today's landscape, you see a lot of people I observe, and it just is unfortunate to see that a lot of people are going away from what it means to debate healthy is what I'm going to talk about in today's topic. Now, a lot of people say they're debating, but they're not really. They're just shouting out what they think or how they feel about certain things, and going away from what somebody else thinks. And if somebody else disagrees with them, a lot of times they don't want to hear it. They just want to shut it down. It doesn't matter to them, or they just want to be very emotionally invested in what they say and not try to open their mind up. And it's just a whole lot of polarization and division. And why is that happening? And how is that considered the norm now? Why is that considered the norm now? I think that, unfortunately, a lot of people don't want to take the time to understand that people have different views, and that it's important to open yourself up and understand different views, and to learn and challenge yourself towards different views, and to accept that sometimes we're just not gonna always agree. But in that acceptance of not being always able to agree on certain things, that's okay. And then you still show courtesy and dignity towards that person despite of that. That's just what you should do. I think that's if a decent person does. And people, a lot of times decency goes out the window, unfortunately, because a lot of things now are emotionally tied without rationality. And I think that's part of the issue that we see today. Rationality isn't valued the way it was valued in previous decades. Even as short as 10 years ago, people lingering in on certain topics were more balanced than there you can see today, just from, for instance, political perspectives, as far as considering the viewpoints that being a person of that's a Republican, or a person that's a Democrat, and then what does that mean to have the certain values of being a Democrat versus what does that mean to have the certain values of being Republican, and that, everything being mixed with the leftist views that doesn't really go what democracy is, or people who don't just belong to being Democrat, who don't just belong to being Republican. They're in the middle, and they don't have a voice to where they can see things and talk about things, that not everything is just one or the other. There's a middle ground here, and it's just very unfortunate. And I think when you start to see that rationality is important and get over emotion, that can help too. But I think that when you start to have a type of mindset, I think this way about this certain type of, let's say you're as far as who you simply want to vote for in the up and coming elections for the president, for the next president. If you don't take the time to understand what these people stand for, their viewpoints, or even from a state point of view, selecting a governor and all that. If you don't want to take the time to really understand these certain topics, or think about these certain topics, and research these certain topics, and just go along with what you see other people talking about, or you see what's going on in the media and how they see it, and you just take it at face value, and that's it, and you don't want to really understand it, that's a problem, because you are not trying to see things from a measure of, what do I personally think? How do I personally feel? How does this personally affect me? How does this affect the people who are surrounding me? You don't give yourself that credit to take the time to understand these things. And then I think when you just go take things for face value, and that's it, and you start to you start to not wanting to understand things for what they actually are, and you start to ignore things for what they actually are. And all this sense of making things into your terms, or making things into what you perceive to be the right terms, because somebody told you this, or you saw this, and that's a lot of chaos and division, and then that doesn't help society at all. That just tears it down, and you can't build a strong, innovative environment. You can't build strong, innovative things to make society better. It just makes things so much worse, and that's very unfortunate. And once you start to understand that certain issues and certain things, that our values are pretty much all the same, because we all want to be heard. We all want to be, have things that enrich us, whether we want to accept that or not. Some people don't want to, and that's a whole other subject. But for the most part, we want things to enrich our lives, not hurt us. And I think when we move away from pride and start to open yourself up to understanding things, that can just open the door for real debate. And then debating takes a lot of conscious thought. It just is very cerebral in that way, and I think that's very effective because when once you want to center yourself to exercising your brain power, you start to see the value in wanting to process things clearly, and things just become a whole lot better, and then you can just see things for what they actually are and go away from things that are just made up, and you start to understand that, and you start to do things, make better decisions. I believe, for one example, your decision process becomes a lot more precise. So let's say you want to put your child, from a family point of view, you want to put your child in daycare, right? And you want to choose a daycare that will take care of your child or your children in the best way. And let's say there's a certain there's a lot of issues that go on with the process of choosing daycare. You make sure that the providers are understanding and all that, and nurturing, but at the same time your child is learning and being encouraged to explore and all these kind of things. Now, it's unfortunate that this can take a bad turn, and this happens a lot of times where the providers, they know that, and they indoctrinate children to believe things that's not valuable for that child's well-being, or they start to think that thinking all these things, for instance, thinking that it's okay to be that it's okay to think that my race is the only thing that matters, for instance, and being this victimhood mentality, so many other things, and not taking the time to see that, these political thinking points are being spread into where children should be understood, and where children should be in an environment to where it's effective to know how to be your own self, and that your differences are there's nothing wrong with your differences, but you're not always your differences. You're at the heart just a human being. And then when you as a parent just ignore that, they're just trying to make these children see, the quote unquote reality of the way life is, and you start to run that slippery slope of what else you're gonna allow your child to be susceptible to, and that you should really take a strong turn against. And that's why you see all these unbelievable things that are happening in the education sector, more so along the lines of public education sector, where it's acceptable to have inappropriate books that adults find it just not appropriate to read themselves. And then you find these sort of books, the lewd content in libraries for children, where they should be developing their minds to move towards healthy behaviors, and not behavior that's just detrimental to their growth and understanding about the world and themselves. And I think it leads to a lot of polarization, where when they get older and then they become an adult, and that leads to them thinking that it's us against them, or vice versa, and all this not being able to talk and debate about certain subjects because of that just indoctrination being influencing them when they're young. And it's unfortunate. I think it's just, you have to notice these things and take a stand toward these things, and seeing yourself around that you have to be the one to think rationally, and to think clearly, and to compose yourself, and to say that, and treasure that you need to rationalize different situations in order to get to better solutions. And a lot of things can be avoided, and a lot of things can be improved if you do that. And I think that's what's going on with all these debates that are supposed to be debates now. They're just very one-sided, because it's a lot of people that are just indoctrinated into these things that are not helpful, or they just don't know about the subject properly, and they don't want to take the time to understand the subject. And I think as far as politics goes, it's important for people to come to a common ground and understand other people's differences, and not try to use them for a means to just polarize people, and polarize themselves, and isolate themselves. And I think we need to start understanding that. And because it's very uncomfortable to feel like you always have to walk on eggshells when you talk about things. And you need to just understand that research and having a strong family support system to talk about certain issues without being getting into disagreement, unreasonable disagreements, and to share things and understand things and become better, and feel like you can't be heard because you think about this, and even in your disagreement you don't feel like you're being shut down just because you think these things, or being able to evolve your thinking past what you believe is true, and understanding what is right, and understanding what is valuable to you, really valuable to you, and how you view things. And I think that we can come together as a society when we start to process all of these things, as far as debating and going beyond talking points, or saying what's safe, or to focus on, and using emotions to back up what you want to say on certain topics. And people can just understand a whole lot of value once they move beyond that. So, for instance, as far as birth and marriage and life and the value of life, and thinking that it's normal, this is a topic that is very serious, as far as wanting to have a baby versus having a baby. You start to get on, if somebody has this very extreme viewpoint towards this issue, trying to see their point of view, but you standing your ground about your point of view, and then shouting you down because you see that you should have better options as far as children. If you don't want a child, you should be pro-life, and you're pro-life. There's choices. Even in pro-choice, there's choices. There's that's the choices of taking the wrong path to end things for a baby, and to not understanding the repercussions of doing something like that, and how detrimental that is. And I think it's important to get at the heart of the matter of takes away from the debate of understanding these different viewpoints, and not trying to make someone else feel wrong, or make someone else feel like how they view the world is not valuable. Because to go back to the viewpoint of children, and making conscious and smart decision about having a child, you need to take the responsibility and accountability of that it's not about you, it's about that life. And you need to understand that's what matters. And then to hear everything out, with the consequences that comes along with of not understanding that, and to get to real debates about it, and all of that of the nature. And I think that's what we need to do. I think we need to get to that point again. So I'm reaching toward the end of this topic. I hope you enjoyed what you heard. This was the Harboring Light.